And we are live, man. Welcome back to another episode of the Flagrant 2 with X and Lou, your two favorite NBA media personalities. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be tuned in to all of our newest episodes. Game 5, baby.
In game five. What a
Yes,
time to
sir.
be alive.
I ain't like how Game 4 played out, man. I ain't like it.
Why not?
It's just, like, to me, it wasn't a statement win. Like, it was a win, but it wasn't a
Mhm.
statement win. It wasn't something that gave me confidence that OKC is getting over their hiccups and their miss mark. It's just a bunch of cobbled young guys who are, it does to me doesn't look like they're learning.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Um,
man. I'm hoping tonight will be a statement win. They're back home. They played really good at home, but then again, we get into this theme of who's going to be the first team to lose back to back.
yeah, that's the only way you win this series. But I hear what you're saying because we were looking for a statement win, for them to come out and show some dominance because everybody feels like OKC is clearly the better team.
Right.
But at the end of the day, they is still a young team trying to everything they do out here is just figuring it out on the fly as well. They turned out to have a fantastic season because they evolutionized the defense of basketball right now with their personnel. So nobody's ready for that. And it's just literally they're still figuring out how they're gonna attack certain mismatches, how they're gonna deal with this, that, and the with this, that, and the third. And it's just like, yeah, we want some dominant wins where it just gives us a sense of comfort, like, I okay, see, figured this out. But at the end of the day, they're still the second youngest team. So they're out here figuring it out. When we think about a vet on a team, we can only think about one player. The vet
Caruso.
on a team, yeah. And
Mhm.
the next person who's like the nearest vet on a team is Shea.
Yeah.
After that, these guys are figuring it out. And I got to give credit to Jalen Williams. He's been having a consistent games throughout.
Hmm.
And then, of course, a big shout out to Alex Caruso. He hasn't had a whole 20-point game throughout this entire season. He has two in the finals already.
Yeah.
Like I said, the vet's doing what he's doing, pulling up and showing up. And now these young guys, I'm just giving them credit, man. They all here, they making it work. And of course, I chose OKC in 5. Now I said 6 the most. Don't make me a liar. Okay, do not make me a liar. Don't bring us to game 7.
Yeah, I had OKC in 5 as well. But obviously 5 is out the picture. I mean, it's still possible for them to get 6. I don't
Yeah.
see a scenario where it goes to game 7 unless Indiana wins tonight. I believe that they're home. They're gonna take advantage of home court advantage, and they will ultimately win tonight. But tonight, I need a statement win. I need the win that they had on their uh the game before their closeout against Denver. I
Mhm.
need that type of statement win. I need y'all to come out, show them why you belong there, why we believe that you was the best team all year long, and show us that you figured it out. Show us that you've grown from games 3 and 4. Because although I would say you got to give credit where it's due. I think that game 4 they figured out how to win tough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's easy to win outright. It's easy to go out and just do what you got to do. It's harder to win those tight games where you have to win ugly. And I believe that that's what they did in game 4. Although I didn't like the stretch, you can't knock these guys. 12 and 1. 12 the hard way, but 12 to 1 stretch where they closed out this game.
Hmm.
So I'm not really too mad at the end results because the end results is to get a win. I'm more mad at how it looked. You know, you don't make it too hard for yourself because you're making it easier for the other team.
Hmm. I mean, yes, I would. I agree because we talked about that 12-1 run as soon as it happened. It was like 12
Yeah.
run, but it was a tough one. It wasn't like we see 12-1 runs. We see 20-2 runs, and it's exciting. It's like, damn. But this was a 12-1 run at the end of the game. So it was a lot
Mhm.
of fouls. And then it was just like a 12-1 run where it's just like, okay, see, I want you to flow better and make it look more exciting type of thing, really. But
Not even just exciting. I think I want
I
more of
think,
a
well, what? Go ahead.
no, I was saying not just exciting, but I want it more like it doesn't look so hard. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like, why does it
but
have to look like all these points are coming so hard to come by?
I mean, the thing about it too, it's it's harder too because at the end of the day, they were running like a three low, running a pick and roll with Shea and Jalen because they wanted
Mhm.
the mismatch of Nemhard.
Right.
He was a smaller defender, somebody that Shea could actually bully a little bit more. So it's like you got to get that mismatch. You got to get that switch, a matchup. I want to say mismatch, but a matchup that they like better because Nemhard's
Yeah.
still a good defender. It was Nemhard.
Yeah.
It was one of them, and they made it work. So it's like you're still going against a good defender, so it's going to look tougher. And it's just like it's a one-on-one shot creating battle at the end, so it's going to look tough.
Yeah. And then on top of that is exactly what we had talked about in the last episode where we were saying that down the stretch, this is what you want. You want your best matchups. You want your one-on-ones. You don't want the one-on-ones, quarters 1 through 3. You want them in the fourth quarter.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's exactly what they was doing. They was hunting, and that's one thing I got to give them credit for. And then on the flip side of that, I have to give credit to Indiana because although they allowed the 12-1 finish,
Hmm.
they didn't allow it sitting down. It's not like it wasn't like a free run for 12. That was a very difficult 12-1 run.
Yeah.
So you got to
It
give
was,
got to
and then
give credit to Indiana's for their defense.
it was, and then at the end of the day too, it was. I want to say it was, but it wasn't. But it also really was.
Right.
Um, but I gave him a shout out last game. This game, he gets donkey of the day. Uh,
Miles Turner.
he was no. He was bigger dick,
Benedict
but
Mathurin. Yeah.
what the he got two fouls before the play fouls, which gives the guy a free throw
Yeah, and
and
it was
still
bad
keep
fouls.
possession. And it was bad, especially that second one. He just ran straight into SGA
Yeah.
and then looks at the ref like, bro, what do you mean?
Right.
You did
And,
exactly what you did.
like I know he looked at the ref like SGA was flopping, but that you can't flop that. That was
Yeah.
momentum. You know what I'm saying?
So no, not Miles Turner. Miles Turner could do the best he could do out there. He's just a big man. Like at the end of the day, we give big men. Big men are evolutionizing themselves in basketball, but
Yeah.
Miles Turner is just a 3 and D big man. It's really, you know what I mean? He's out
Yeah.
what he could do. He could only affect the game as much as he could. If they run actions away from him, he can't really do much. If he's not making his three or they not really passing the ball, he can't do much. Like so, we can't do it at the him. But who we can do that to
Hmm.
is Seattle. Let me go. Let me talk about it, y'all.
Go ahead.
Seattle was an absolute no show in the fourth quarter. 0 points.
0 points. A
We
donut.
Seattle.
Holy moly donut shot.
Hey, nah, but for real, I am talking to you directly.
Mm,
I sat there and watched. I don't care how fluky we could sit there and say that Toronto championship was because they won it because of injuries, whatever. That's just the way the game is played. People get
Facts.
injured. You know what I mean? It's like we say, certain things got to flow your way for you to win. It happens.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, we watched 3 series before that where Kawhi Leonard was the man. You sat there and watched that man play defense, hold it down on offense, do everything he got to do to help y'all get that. And see, am I saying that you didn't play a role in that? I'm not saying that. You played fantastic. But now, this is your time, your chance
Hmm.
to be Kawhi Leonard of the team. And this is what they brought you in here for. You
Facts.
won a championship. You sat there and watched how that guy operates. And are you going to be 1-to-1 the same as him? No, you're not going to sit there and say that.
Mm-mm.
But what I'm saying is, when the time they need you the most, you're like the Avatar.
Mm.
Where was this guy? Where is this guy?
It's crazy.
Siakam, we need you to show up. And we talked about this like 2 episodes ago, bro.
Yeah, we did.
That Siakam was the disappointment to me. I don't care if he gets those 20, 25 here, 15 here, he averaging 20 a series. No, we need you to be consistently averaging this.
Yeah.
To make you be forceful out there. We need you on the defensive side to be a matchup nightmare on the defensive side for both sides of the floor, for the defense on your team, because you got to show up somehow out there because now they figured out what they got to do against bringing them hard into certain actions again. Isn't them? It's one of them two guys that they bring into the action.
It's not hard.
Yeah, that you got to help
Yeah.
somebody. That maybe you even got to guard shape. You got to just step up to the line a bit. Like, you know what? I got the length. I got the size. I might not have the speed, but you got the ability to be like a Jaden McDaniels out there. Not up to that caliber, but enough where you could force him to do stuff that he don't want to do. You just got to take it on the chest and be like, yo, look, let me get a few shots at this. Let me see if I'm different.
And it's not like you need them to do that the entire game. But at crunch time, fourth quarter, when they're trying to isolate, yeah,
Yeah, and then also on the offensive side, bro, we need you to be that mismatch nightmare. I
like you
know
did
it's
against us.
entries, passes in there, and things
Hmm.
like that, but y'all gotta figure out a way because I'm telling you, Siakam is just not giving enough for me at this point.
It's almost like he got the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and he was just satisfied with that.
Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. I don't think anybody was satisfied with giving it. I mean, I wasn't. I ain't gonna lie. If
No, but
those,
I'm saying I think
yeah, I
he's
know what you mean.
satisfied. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Know what you mean, but you already know that's Halliburton's award. I don't care what anybody say. Um, Even though the award right now is still minuscule compared to you want the Finals MVP,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like
I,
you happy about this small little piece of silverware.
mhm,
We're looking at gold. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want the silver. The silver's nice. It's cool. It glitters, but it don't shine as bright as the gold. It don't look as good as the Larry O'Brien.
yeah, facts.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't I what I will say is he's not the most disappointing on the court.
No.
Um, but in the fourth quarter, this is what they brought him in. They brought him in to be the number one option offensively because that's not Hallie's game. Hallie's game is he's never going to be the true number one when it comes to scoring the ball.
Hmm. He's number one again. Your team in order.
Right. But Siakam's supposed to be their number one offensively. And low key, he's supposed to be 1, 2 defensively. Neesmith has been doing a really good job. I think he's brilliant in being in the right spots when it comes to playing defense and trying to stick and stay with your man, moving laterally. He's doing fantastic. But the thing is, Shea is way too lengthy. He's way too savvy. Neesmith hasn't had this caliber of guard to be able to understand, because Neesmith is still young himself.
Yeah.
We talk about veterans. Shea is the second leading veteran on that team, and he's worked and crafted his game to this perfection to be in this position. I'm not counting on a guy who's been in the league for 2, 3 years who still doesn't understand how to guard this type of player, and you're asking him to guard him. I'm not asking Neesmith to guard the number one in crunch time. I'm asking my number one to guard their number one in crunch time, and I can live with the results. Siakam is their number one. That's who I need on Shea at the end of the game. Fourth quarter, they're looking for their isolation. We're looking for the one-on-one matchups. Shea is gonna hunt out who he wants to play. Like this, this is just what we're gonna do in the fourth quarter. And another thing is, what I love what OKC did, because we talked about it last episode as well. Hartenstein starting.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a good start, but I still did not see OKC pose their will this game. I
Yeah.
felt like this was the first game where I could honestly say this was an evenly matched game. And it should
Sure.
not be that way when OKC is the better team.
Mm-hmm.
Because the
Yeah.
eye test don't lie. It almost looked like they was a little intimidated by Indiana. Just a little bit. I don't want to say that, they are. I'm just saying, when matchups clash and you're kind of down back against the rope, to me it just felt like they was playing just a tad bit timid instead of playing their game. I didn't see them impose their will this game.
No. Yeah. I could agree with that. And yes, OKC is the better team, but I think Indiana is still a team that's closer to them coming to the playoffs.
No,
Let's
I
at
agree.
least
I
let's
agree
say
with that.
coming
I
into these
agree.
playoffs, the way Indiana's defense has turned up, their offense is gonna always flow. They're gonna figure out what's what simply because they got concepts as opposed to, you know what I mean, certain concepts on offense as opposed to
Yeah.
regular actions that regular plays. That's like, all right, we know this play is coming. Like it's just tough to guard them, and
Yeah.
that's what literally kind of equalizes the playing field for Indiana. So, like I said, the road for Indiana to go ahead and win this next game, game 5, is truly, like I said, for Siakam to show up, bro.
Yeah.
Need Siakam to show up. We said we needed I said Nemhard. We needed Halliburton to show up throughout the whole game last game.
Hmm.
He did that.
Yep.
He did that throughout the whole game. He was there. It wasn't no
Hmm.
moment where we like, where's Halliburton? What's Halliburton doing? No, Halliburton was a factor throughout the whole game.
Yep.
And it's just like I always say, he could be a factor throughout the whole game, but at the end of the day, you need a closer.
Yep.
Halliburton's is factor throughout the game. That's who he is, but you still need a closer. And Siakam, you need to do that. Last game that y'all won, the game before that, you had Nemhard. He sat there and
Hmm.
turned into Allen Iverson.
Word.
The other, and then when we think about, if you think about this entire playoffs, Siakam hasn't had none of these fourth quarter moments because everything we think about is all the other players. You had
Yeah,
Naismith,
Neesmith. Yeah,
Steph
Miles Turner.
Curry.
Hmm.
Bro, we had Siakam be consistent, one of the most consistent players throughout this time,
Hmm.
but he hasn't had any of those moments where you're like, yo, bro, Siakam is just different, bro. I think he probably had one,
It was
but I
against the
couldn't even
Knicks.
really think it.
It
Yeah,
was against
yeah,
the Knicks. Yeah.
yeah. But it's just like you need him for real, bro. You should have these consistent moments where it's just like consistently taking over moments where it's
Yeah.
like, all right, we know that when it comes down to the come down, we get him the ball and we got something. And that's the reason why these close matches. And I was like, if these games are close, I'm always going to pick OKC because I know OKC has Shea who's going to get a basketball, figure something out,
Yeah.
who's gonna get fouled, and we could call him a free throw merchant, but it's just you can't guard him. That's all it is.
Hmm.
Because when he hit that
He's
little,
gonna get a
when he
bucket.
got to that elbow, hit that little fake, did the little Kobe spin,
Hmm.
and homeboy fouled him. Like, come on, bro. He knew he was dead in the water. Like,
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Shit.
If it was me, I would never even try to block that. I'd just be like, yo, if you make that, you make that. That's a tough
Yeah.
shot. You
Facts.
forced him into a tough shot.
That's
He
it.
bailed him out with a foul. But
And Shay's a
at the end of
bucket.
the day, yeah, at the end of the day, too, I'm looking on social media. Everybody talk about Shea foul grifting. He had 15 points, but it was all fouls, free throws. And I'm just like, yo, guys, when they needed him the most,
He showed
he
up.
was making those shots.
Hmm.
And we talk about the free throws. He had 8 of them bad boys in that time. But guess what? Indiana had the foul to slow the clock down.
Yep.
Are we going to look at Steph Curry and be like, oh, he made a lot of free throws at the end? He shoots 90%. They both shoot 90%. I'm going to give him the ball too. They better make them free throws at the end.
Facts.
They better go ahead and get, if y'all foul 5 times, they better have 10 points. 9 points at least.
Yeah.
Because
I
I'm
agree.
giving them the ball. So it's like you could say all you want about those points being free throws, but guess what? He practiced those shots. We all practice free throws. Shaq
Yeah.
practiced free throws. And you see him breaking, y'all want him at the line. Y'all don't want Shea at the line because he can make them. So we could talk
Well,
about those points. I just had to talk about that because they always talk about free throws. Like, come on. He had 10
nah, but
free throws that game, and 8 of them was in those fourth quarter where they had to foul.
yeah, and that's the only thing I don't like as well. Like I hate when because it makes you like when I see stuff like that. To me, it just makes me feel like you're not watching the game. But I could look at the stats and say, "Oh, he had 15 free throws. How did he get those 15 free throws? When did those free throws come about? How
Mm-hmm.
many did he have in a certain amount of time? How many did he make? How many did he miss?" Like these are things that you could only gather while you're watching the game. I could look at the
Yeah.
scorecard and see, oh, 13 for 15, but I could watch the game and I could see that out of those 13 makes, he made 7 of them in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That tells two sides of a story. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like I never liked that the foul merchant because again they do that with Jalen Brunson too. If I
Yeah.
get if I get 6 fouls between the first I get to the line 6 times between the first and the third quarter and then that number jumps in the fourth quarter and I'm getting to the line 6 to 7 times in that quarter alone, that tells you
Mhm.
one thing. It tells you that that person is the closer. It tells you that, that's their best free throw shooter, and it tells you that that person gives you the best chance to win the game in a tight situation where they have to be put in a foul situation.
And also, it says that the defense is pressing a little bit too, because it's just like at the end of the day, sometimes when the play is just better at that time in the fourth, you know it.
Hmm.
And it's
Yep.
just like you can't keep up. So it's like when he gets away, he gets loose, you kind of foul. Like you got to do your best to try to get in front of him or impede the shot. And he
Hmm.
already got a good shot, foul. It happens.
It
And don't,
happens.
yeah, and don't get me wrong. Am I sitting here saying Shea isn't looking for the fouls? There
Oh
was a few
yeah.
times in this game where he put up
Yeah.
shots, and I'm just like, yeah, he was looking for a foul, and he didn't
Yeah.
get it. Thank goodness. I'll look at it and be like, thank goodness he didn't get that foul because I don't want you to call
Yeah.
that. I don't want you to call it, but it's just like, come on, bro. Like, what he got like 3 of them, 3 blatant ones I seen. I'm just like throughout the whole 4 quarters, whatever. I've seen worse.
Yeah. Definitely.
So
Yeah.
it is
I'm
what
not
it is.
mad. I'm not mad at that late game. Like you're. That's what he's there for. That's
Mm-hmm.
literally it's the name of the game of basketball. If I want to put my best player on the line, period.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But what I'm not cool with is the best player on the other team offensively not getting to the line and not showing up. And that goes with the thing Siakam needs to be better. I
Yeah.
think that if Siakam has a better game tonight, he needs to score anywhere between 20 to 30 points. He needs to be in that 20-point bracket tonight for them to have a chance to win. It's not enough for the other guys to show up. You need your number one option to show up. And unless he shows up tonight, OKC goes up four.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sorry, 3-1, 3-2.
yeah. And also too, because I think we've been going this whole show entirely without talking about Chet. I want to give a shout out to Chet, bro. Gotta give him a big one. This man had 15 rebounds. We are talking about a team who is notoriously bad at rebounds. Chet, come on, they usually rebound within a congregation. So Chet normally has like 8 rebounds a game, probably 7. You look at the stats and you like, damn, Lou Dort had more rebounds than you. But it's just the way they play defense and everything. You know, everybody's everywhere.
Right.
But Chet was out there securing those rebounds. He had a double double, 15 points, 11. I think 15 rebounds, 11 points or something like that. And it's just
Yeah.
like he was doing what he has to do in those positions. It's not no big numbers where you're like, oh my God, he had a 20 for 20. He was going crazy. But he was doing what needed to be done and taking care of the little parts of the game. And not enough people get credit for that. So I just want to give you a shout out. You the big three, and you did what you had to do, and you showed what you could do.
Yeah. Agreed.
Always got to shout somebody out who we ain't talk about all.
Nah, if I'm gonna shout out anybody, I'm gonna shout out Nemhard and Neesmith. They have been the most consistent pacers in this series so far. Um, and a lot of what they have done doesn't always get to show in the stat sheet,
Yeah.
but they've been very consistent, and they're needed in a bigger role if Siakam still cannot show up. I need them to be the ones to go off and take the initiative and not be afraid of the moment.
I agree with that one. So who we got tonight, man? Before we get up out of here, because I know you got stuff you got to finish up, man.
Yeah, we're in Oklahoma tonight. We in OKC. I got OKC. I think that they're home. They're rejuvenated. They won a tough one. I think that this one will be tough again. But if they can impose their will, use the crowd to their advantage, OKC wins tonight.
Yeah, I mean, told you OKC is 6, so I got OKC winning tonight myself. I said last game Shea was gonna get like 40, 35. He was right there. Matt in the math world, we round up, so that's basically 40.
It's
You know what I
40.
mean? So I got him doing it again tonight, bro. These guys got to figure out how to stop him, how to still handle his thing, how to still handle the pressure of that Shea constantly puts on you to score. And like we look at the game too, like some games he takes a little off. He lets Jalen do his thing. Jalen been cooking, but I still think at the end of the day, this man's gonna go ahead and put up his numbers and go crazy this game. I think this is gonna be the statement game tonight, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I
Statement
agree.
for Shea. For OKC, I don't know, but I know for Shea, you're gonna sit here and be like, yo, this was one of the games from him. And I
This
feel
is the MVP game for him.
this is the MVP game.
I mean, I
This,
still think he's gonna get MVP if they
yeah.
win throughout the
Oh,
series.
but I mean,
But this is yeah,
yeah,
this is gonna be that game that we look back on like
yeah.
game
I
5.
mean, yeah, because easily if Jalen goes out there and do something crazy, he could get it. Because Jalen been consistent throughout all of this win
Yeah,
losses.
Jalen has been because I think the only game that
This is
he kind of didn't show up was game 1. But I
yeah,
mean, other than that, he's shown up and showed out.
yeah, yeah. Nah, yeah, you're right. So we'll see. But I think Shea is still the consensus right now. But
Yeah,
Jalen could go ahead and have one of his Jalen Brown type of situations go on and go take that from up under him. But yeah,
I mean,
man,
it could be a Siakam situation too because if it
that
wasn't for
could be a
Siakam having that 40
most
something point
recent
game,
facts. That's the most recent one. Yeah, yeah, you're right. It could
yeah.
be a Siakam. But anything else we talking about, man? Any news?
Uh,
Desmond, we gonna talk about that or say that for later.
nah, we gonna say that for let's save that for game 6, man, because there's gonna be a lot of trades this week. There was another trade this morning, so I
Was
want
it
to kind of
really?
like look.
Who was that?
I texted to you.
Bro, you
I,
act like
I,
nobody knows. All right.
Oh no, no, no. It's just I got I gotta get up out of here. So
Yeah, all right, man. All right, man. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Like, share, sub, and all the above. The finals is so exciting so far, and we can't wait for trade season with y'all. Y'all already know what to do, man. Hit that button, man. We out.